Network of awareness makes your brain coherent. One of the fastest growing podcasts. You can hear it 24/7. Got listeners out in London, informationalists in Paris. The echo spreading out, no parrot. Just dissect, digest, and share it. The righteous rhymes hit the spirit. Click 90 times, it won't perish. Cause y'all's the mind ain't no fairy tale like the valley our parents. It's time to rise, don't get wary. United minds, it's apparent. Download every single errand, but most ain't fit to catch it, even if they were Larry. Interviews, the interludes, they enter you, taking you on a journey like no other. It places you in a state of awareness. It's your fault if you hate the truth, cause Yahweh been Yahweh's on his way, my brother. Better change your views. All praise to Yah.
Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
Yes. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays here on the live broadcast of the Network of Awareness. Shout outs to all the positive, righteous brothers and sisters around the world to this live broadcast on Wednesday, June 1st. It's approximately 7:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the Sunshine State of Florida in the Tampa Bay area where I reside. I'm Or the Informationalist. I am the owner and founder of the Network of Awareness, which is a network of content creators and podcasters, musicians, artists, spiritual influencers, and I'm so grateful to be alive. I'm so grateful to be a part of this truth movement, and I'm so grateful to be a messenger for the Most High to let people and remind people that know that they have light within them and that their life, because of the light of the Most High that's within them, has value, and that the gifts that we've been given are meant to be shared. And in the spirit of Wisdom Wednesday, I decided to do this episode off the cuff. I didn't plan this episode. I just followed my spirit. And I decided to do a show based on this quote, which, as you brothers and sisters can see in the chat room, it says that knowledge breaks the spell of ignorance. And today is episode 13 of season 4. Own what you know. Knowledge, brothers and sisters, is not knowledge unless it's applied into one's life. And if you're not applying what you know, then you really don't have any knowledge at all. And we're going to discuss that because it's important that many of us that are seeking the Most High, that are seeking this truth, that are seeking knowledge of self, that are seeking the true knowledge of his story, and seeking the knowledge of our story instead of his story, because his story is a story that's tainted, but our story is one that's based on truth. It's the story of the Most High. It's the story of truth. It is the story that's been coveted. It's the story that places like the Vatican, places like the Masonic orders that run this world, the Kabbalistic satanic orders that run this world, they covet a lot of this knowledge because they can't have the human that's being, which is you and I, to really truly understand who we are. But those of us that have gained an adequate amount of knowledge have to own that knowledge. We have to own what we know. We have to apply what we know. And for this particular show, I want it to be somewhat of a laid-back show, but at the same time thought-provoking. But I don't want to get too serious with it, only because sometimes we need to be a little, not so much lax, but we need to be able to calm down. And something I've noticed about myself that I'm getting better at is not being so intense. And it's hard not to be intense because I'm an intense individual, and sometimes we're just built that way. We have a long history, a long past that has molded us into what we are now. And one thing that I'm grateful for is that I'm starting to find more peace in my life instead of not so much hostility, but high tension. I'm a high-spirited person, so I'm learning how to tone that down sometimes and not be so intense or intensifying, and learning how to balance that intensity with calmness and not having to be so on it all the time. So we're going to talk about some of these things, about owning what you know. And I like to tie it into being comfortable in your own skin. So we're going to discuss that today, because a lot of us are surrounded by a lot of toxic, negative energy. I am, believe it or not. There's a certain frequency that I'm surrounded by that's not always so welcoming and so positive. But because I know myself so well and I continue to get a better understanding of who and what I truly am, it's easier to deal with the negative forces that surround me. And if you live in the United Serpents of America, it's everywhere. And shout outs to all my brothers and sisters around the world that support the network of awareness. Shout outs to my queen Letta. Shout outs to brother Mauricio. Shout outs to all the brothers and sisters that are going to be trickling in to the chat room. And brothers and sisters, I want to thank you. So let's give props where props is due, because the numbers of the network of awareness are starting to pick back up again. And I'm so grateful for that. All praise to the Most High, because we've been doing kind of horrible, people, as far as like being censored and shadow banned and just being blocked. And it's finally, I'm starting to see some leeway in the work that I'm putting when it comes to the actual recognition. And recognition of the show is downloads. If my show is being downloaded, that means people are listening. If I'm not getting any downloads, that means people are not listening to my shows. So I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, that have taking the time out to listen to my shows, to download them, and to also believe in what I'm saying and be gravitated to the information that I provide. And I haven't even been too intense with my information for season 4, if y'all haven't noticed. I've been intense in my energy, but not in the information. And there's a reason for that, because now that I'm going to TV, a lot of that real deep, in-depth information is going to be on my TV network, and you're going to have to pay for that information. Straight up. I'm not going to spend all of my hard work and energy into providing valuable information for free. I'm just not doing it no more. But with these episodes, what I am going to provide is a certain amount of information. I'm going to make my shows entertaining, and I'm going to continue to have my shows be thought-provoking, and most importantly, inspirational, because I think that's what the Network of Awareness does more than anything else. It provides a level of inspiration. And that was the whole purpose of the show to begin with, is to allow people to opportunity to understand that they have light within them that's valuable. So, a couple of things I want to talk about before I give props to those that deserve it is my show is under society and culture category. I have subcategories, which is social sciences and spirituality and movie commentary. What I'm going to do is I am going to switch society and culture and make it a subcategory, and I'm going to put social sciences as my main category, because what I've noticed is that in the social sciences category, I am highly ranked. I am ranked in the top 100 in Europe and in Canada. And I just moved up to a ranking of 143 of all the podcasters in the social sciences category in the world in the United States of America. And this is all based on Apple Podcast statistics, because that's the main podcast when ranking. But I am ranked in Spotify and other platforms. But Apple is it's really the most important one in the podcast world. And I'm so grateful that I've been able, with very little marketing, because of you. It's really because of y'all. Let's just call it what it is. It's really that simple. It's because of the people that listen to my show and those that have been spreading my show to people that they know. And that's how my show's been growing. Now this year, I'm going to invest money in actually marketing it with actual companies that know what they're doing. So with that being said, I am going to switch my category from society and culture to social sciences. Social sciences is more relevant and is a better category for what I do. Society and culture will now become the subcategory, and social sciences will be the primary category. So I wanted to make that announcement so you brothers and sisters know that I'm switching categories, because one is more fitting and one that I'm moving up really well. Now, when it comes to the people that have been supporting the Network of Awareness, let's start with the people that are from around the world. And the people that are around the world are countries like Trinidad, Paraguay, New Zealand, Norway, Morocco, Australia, Brazil, Spain, United Arab Emirates, Mexico, United Kingdom, Venezuela, Argentina, got to say it like that, Argentina, Germany. Shout outs to the brothers in Germany and sisters. Shout outs to my brother Kent. Shout outs to the brothers and sisters in United Kingdom. United Kingdom people have been rocking with me since the first week I aired my episode, which was the week of June 9th of 2020. And in another 8 days, it will be the 2nd year anniversary to this Network of Awareness podcast. So we will do a big celebration. Shout outs to Barbados. Shout outs to Costa Rica. Shout outs to India. India has been rocking with me just as long as United Kingdom. Now, I know Russia's in the mix, but Russia kind of fell off. They're not as, I don't know if I'm being blocked or whatever. Same thing with Ukraine. Ukraine used to follow me heavy before this turmoil. Now that they got this turmoil over there, I barely get a download from Ukraine. But shout outs to the brothers and sisters in Ukraine and Russia. Ain't no love lost, right? And then, of course, the biggest country outside the United States that supports me heavily, that I'm ranked in the top 100, is Canada. So shout outs to all my brothers and sisters in Canada. I truly appreciate and love y'all for the support that you provide me and continue to help me to grow as a podcaster, content creator, influencer in this podcasting vast world that I'm a part of. And then we have the United States of America. And boy, let me tell you, let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Now, I have a lot of downloads from other places that are not listed. And then we got Wisconsin, Maryland, we got DC, we got North Dakota, Oklahoma, Alabama, Pennsylvania. Let me tell you something about the South. The South has been showing your brother a lot of love. And I thought it would be the other way around. I got my up north people, but the South has been supporting me like no other. North Dakota, Oklahoma. Shout outs to brother Yazun. Shout outs to Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Washington, Arkansas, which I believe brother Slime Doe is from Arkansas. Shout outs to brother Slime Doe, Cal. Michigan, Tennessee. Michigan's been rocking with me for a minute too. Tennessee, Arizona. Shout outs to Colorado, Sister Danita. Let's Talk HR Services and A1 Career Services, if you don't know. Shout outs to North Carolina, Virginia, California, Nevada. Shout outs to Louisiana, which is the state that my woman, my future wife, is residing in. Shout outs to Texas. Big shout outs to Texas. Shout outs to Florida, right? The state that I've been living in for 7 years now. Shout outs to all my Floridians. Appreciate y'all. Shout outs to all my peoples in the state of Illinois. All right. Y'all been rocking with me for a while now, and y'all been showing so much support. So thank you so much for that. Shout outs to New York, baby. Born and raised. Boogie Down Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Strong Island. Shout outs to Newburgh. Shout outs to Poughkeepsie. I saw another place called Selkirk. I was like, Selkirk? Damn, that's up north. Shout outs to Albany, Syracuse. You know how it is. Shout outs to New Jersey, right? Who ever thought, especially for those that have been listening to my show for more than a year, that I would be saying that New Jersey is ranked second highest downloads for the month of May. Wow. Thank you to all the people that are supporting me in New Jersey. I never thought it would happen because you know how I feel about the state of New Jersey. That place put me through a lot of shit. But hey, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And then last but not least, you know, let me see if I can get a drum roll. Do I have a drum roll here? Let's see if we got a drum roll. Where's the drum roll? Georgia, let's go. Georgia, baby, thank you so much, man. Y'all hit #1 for the month of May. Thank you. All right, I hope y'all stay there for the month of June. But hey, New Jersey's right behind y'all. So I appreciate all of y'all for real, man, because I do this. I don't do this for people. I do this for the Most High. I want to make that very clear. But by doing this for the Most High and serving the Most High as a messenger, it's to let people know that the Most High is real and that your life has value because the Most High is within you. And that light that's within you is powerful. We all have an aura. Some people's aura are good. Some people's aura are bad. But if your aura is bad, doesn't mean that you can't fix it. And the only way you can fix it is by becoming a better individual, putting forth righteous intentions and really living out and being one with the intentions that you put out, and actually have works that match the intention. And I guarantee you the Most High is going to favor you for that, because the Most High likes it when we are really about that life, when we are really about that. I don't care what you think about what I know. I know what I know, and I'm going to own it. See, there's people that are fearful of owning knowledge of self because it's not popular to know yourself, especially in a place like the United Americursed Serpents of America. This is the place that embraces the lie as the truth and embraces the truth as the lie. And as it states in the book of Isaiah, those that have accepted the darkness for the light and the light for the darkness, that's America and other places around the world, because there's a lot of other places around the world that have become very Americanized, to say the least. They become very Americanized. It is what it is. We're in a time where knowledge is kind of shunned, because knowledge breaks the spell of ignorance. But when you live in a society that is highly ignorant, knowledge is considered to be blasphemous. It's considered to be whack, corny. How many times have some of you people that are in this chat room and those that are listening around the world, when you actually want to share something of substance, something that actually matters with your peers, I guarantee you there's going to be several people, if not all of them, that are going to look at you like you're some type of cornball. They're going to look at you like you're some type of nut job because you have a certain amount of knowledge that you want to share, especially when you want to share knowledge about what the scriptures are really about, opposed to what Christians have been taught what it's about. You see, because what I've come to realize, and I grew up in Catholicism. So I grew up in the Roman Catholic religion, but I was also subjected to Pentecostal and Jehovah's Witness. Ooh, ooh. I take a deep breath there, because I'm going to tell you something. My family that's Jehovah's Witness, woo, I love them. But boy, you want to talk about becoming indoctrinated. And what I've come to realize with the scriptures through certain people, not only did I follow, but people that have come into my life throughout the past 40 plus years, is that the scriptures, the knowledge in scriptures is a culture. It is a way of life. And that's what I've come to realize that Yahweh ben Yahweh represents, a way of life. There's a verse that I put together on a track that I'm going to be on that's going to be coming out soon. And I made a comment about how Yahweh is peace, is the embodiment of peace and redefinement. And as I said it and wrote it down, it blew my mind, because I was like, this is coming through the spirit. This ain't even me talking. I'm just a vessel putting this word, these phrases out here, because these phrases, I'm looking back on them like, yo, I said that? Like, where did I get that from? That came from the spirit. Because when I started analyzing it, I said, Yahweh is the embodiment of peace and redefinement. I was like, whoa, wait a second. Let me digest that because I don't know where that came from. But I started really dissecting and I said to myself, this is starting to make more sense to me because when you look at how Yahweh walked this earth and that which he taught, it was the true embodiment of what peace is. It's this level of knowing where it's just like it resonates at 360 degrees within the circumference of your aura, which is your spiritual light. And I can only imagine that when Yahweh ben Yahweh was walking the earth, man, he must have been a beacon of light. Like you must have stood next to this man and I don't even know. It's ineffable what the feeling could have been like of having that knowing. And then the redefinement, when I wrote the redefinement aspect of it all, is that Yahweh teaches us that we have to go through these struggles. We have to go through trials and tribulations to really test our faith in the Most High, in Yahweh Elohim. And when you look at how Yahweh ben Yahweh had to go through extreme trial and tribulation and hate and animosity and envy and jealousy and straight demonic wickedness that he had to endure from the society that was alive at that time. It's an amazing story of resiliency and having the spiritual fortitude to not bend and to not waver in what Yahweh ben Yahweh knew. Nobody, not even Satan himself, could convince Yahweh ben Yahweh that what he had to offer was better than what his father had to offer. Now, I know some people understand the controversy between Passion of Christ, but I just want to use that as an example. I understood the propaganda behind that movie. Anytime you're showing Hebrew people as European Americans, I mean, enough said. But one of the scenes that I liked about that movie is when Satan is offering the world and everything in it to Yahweh ben Yahweh, and he's praying, and Satan has that snake that starts creeping up. And the depiction that Mel Gibson gave of Satan, people pay close attention because there's a lot of truth in that movie, even though it's filled with a shitload of propaganda. One of my favorite scenes in that movie is when Yahweh ben Yahweh stomps the head of the snake. I love that scene. I could watch that scene over and over again because it was so significant to the level of discipline that the Most High, Yahweh ben Yahweh, had in his spirit as a man. And we have to look at that example and be inspired by that example to have the same fortitude, to have the same spiritual discipline, and to be resilient to not succumbing to the weaknesses of the flesh and temptation, and allow the Spirit to guide the way and be the relentless force that dictates how we walk this path of enlightenment, how we walk on our quest to salvation. And I'm not here to try to sit on my high horse like I'm some spiritual teacher, because honestly, when I think of myself as a messenger, some people say you are a spiritual teacher, Aura, but I'm not. I'm more of just a man who's getting closer to understanding who and what the Most High is and how it relates to what I am, because I am that which he is, which is everything that is and ever will be. I am the expression of the light that the Most High embodies. Like, it's everything. And I do the best that I can with what I got. And I continue to be on this journey and this quest because I'm on a quest for salvation too. I have a lot to repent for. I have a lot to be grateful for. And so do you. And if you're listening to the show, I have to say that we're in this together, brothers and sisters. We truly are. And I think it's more important now than ever for us to really be unified in this truth and really walk the walk that we talk. Because the righteous path is so damn narrow and it's filled with a lot of negativity in the sense that there's always going to be forces at hand to try to knock you off that spiritual tightrope to where you lose balance and fall off. And those distractions and forces are very persistent and consistent. But when you own what you know, you become spiritually unstoppable. You become untouchable. And I truly mean that. You become untouchable. I'll give you a story that happened to me in Sarasota, Florida. I used to live in Sarasota. It's my favorite place in Florida to live. It was just too expensive. A lot of rich people that live there. Very ritzy area. And hopefully one day I can live there. You know, after me and Letta hit the 55-year-old mark, if this country's still around at that time, which I doubt. Me and Letta will probably be somewhere overseas, but who knows? But definitely a place I would like to live when I'm 55 or older. Very peaceful place. But I had a situation. This is when I used to drink a lot of beer. I was a big beer drinker, right? I'd go out on the weekend, go watch the fights, or sometimes I would go on a Thursday night, have me a nice meal, some fettuccine Alfredo with chicken, or have me a steak or whatever, you know. There was these dudes, and I've told this story before, but I'm just telling the story briefly to prove the point about how you become untouchable, where you have this spiritual force field around you that is just so powerful. Your aura emanates at a very high frequency where it becomes a force field, like in Star Wars, where they had the force field. That's real. And there was these white dudes that had these MAGA shirts on. They had like a group. It was like a damn club that supported Trump. And they were going around antagonizing people and telling them about who you voting for, who are you for, Trump is this, Trump is that. I mean, some real redneck, dumb shit. And a lot of people, some people were talking to them. Some people were trying to like tell them, like some white people were like, nah, leave me alone. And there was an altercation that happened where one of the dudes tried to choke a customer at the restaurant. And then the manager came out and the manager just whooped ass. I thought I was watching like a scene from Marvel Comics, you know, some like Avenger shit. And I gave him props and everything because me and him are cool. I was like, yo, bro, I was going to help you, but you didn't need no help. He threw this dude like 7 or 8 feet in the air and dropped him. Like it was a beautiful. I wish I had popcorn, but what I did was I just keep drinking my beer and eating my what are they called? It's these certain type of chicken wings they have. Damn, zingers. I was eating my zingers, honey barbecue mixed with mango habanero. Woo. Anyway, when they were doing their rounds and they was approaching everybody at the bar, but guess who they didn't approach? Your boy. And I was waiting, like I was, because I used to be a very confrontational person. And that is now leaving me. I used to be super confrontational. Like if you wanted to bring some shit to me, I was going to be like, yes, let's do it. And sometimes that comes out of me and I'm trying to get rid of that. That's one of my Achilles heels right now, is that when there's some things where You don't need to be so amped up to ready to fight or whatever. They looked at me and they just kept it moving. It's like, yo, it was so weird because they was approaching everybody. And me and this one dude that was like the ringleader, it was like 8 or 9 of them. And they had these black shirts with these yellow strips and it said like MAGA and Make America Great Again and all this bullshit. And he just looked at me and they just kept it moving, man. I was the only person at that restaurant that they didn't approach. Only, and I'm not exaggerating, people, the only person in this big restaurant, we was in the outdoor portion. What was the place? It was a place I used to go to all the time. Miller's Ale House. And I was in the outside patio. It's huge in Sarasota. Beautiful place. Great food. Wonderful staff. And let me tell you, people, like they just passed me, but I knew why they passed me because there was something about my spirit, something about my aura where they just knew he ain't the one. But it's not like he ain't the one because he's a tough guy, but there is a certain look that I have that's, I'm not going to say intimidating, but it's like when you look into my eyes, you know that there's more than meets the eye when it comes to me. And I'm not saying that like I'm a tough guy because I'm really not. You know what I'm saying? But there is something in my spirit that I'm not afraid of death. So if you bring some drama to me, we going to fight to the death and whatever happens, happens. I'm okay with it. But it's going to be real hard to take me out. Real hard. And there was something about my spirit that they just passed me by. And it was because when you own what you know, it emanates out of you. And if you really about this truth, own it. Be about it. Don't fake it. Right? Like the episode I did with Letter where it was like, are you faking it or faking it? And that was her idea. I got to make sure I say that because if I say that I came up with it, forget it. You know, it's going to be a whole problem after the show. That was her idea. I want to make that very known. That's my public service announcement. That did not come from Or the Informationalist. It came from Letter. But it's true. Are you faking it or are you faking it? And there's a lot of people faking it. A lot. It's a lot of people that swear they're about this truth. They'll swear they love the Most High. Oh, Most High, all praise. It's like, please, man, you're not really about that life, man. Because if we was to hang out with your lying ass, I guarantee you that you ain't going to be singing that song. There's a lot of people out there like that. That's why I have so much respect for the people that really are about that life. They're really about becoming a better version of themselves today than they was yesterday. And I've had the privilege to briefly get to know some of these people to a certain degree. One of them is in the chat room right now. Shout out to Sister Danita. So I say all of this because we are in a time right now where things are very serious. And I've said this over and over again. This is not a time to let your hair down and be laxed and be like, oh, okay, Sarah, whatever will be, will be. All that bullshit, there's no time for that shit right now. And I go back to the story of Yahweh ben Yahweh when Yahweh ben Yahweh was traveling and preaching this truth and living it and being an example of it. Yahweh ben Yahweh was in a lot of sticky situations where he had to flee and escape death a lot of times. And there was a lot of brothers and sisters that lived their life like that too. Because when you really embrace putting forth righteous intentions in your life to serve a higher power that you are connected to, you are going to become a pariah, man. You are going to become a burden to the people that love to be in that ignorant bliss, because the two don't mix well together. It's oil and vinegar, or oil and water, or vinegar. I don't know. I forget which one it is, but y'all know what I'm saying? It just don't mix, man. It don't mix now more than ever. But you see, and this is something that I talk about too, and I'm going to reiterate on it from a different perspective. To all the people that are listening, have you noticed that ever since the pandemic came into the fold in January of 2020, and then slowly increased by March, where in March, we was in a semi-lockdown. And I say semi-lockdown, a lot of people say, oh, or we was in a full lockdown. There was nobody on the road, and I loved it. I loved driving with nobody on the road. I felt like I was in the apocalypse, and I was like Will Smith in I Am Legend. I was doing like 90 on a 30-mile-per-hour lane. But all jokes aside, it was a semi-shutdown. It wasn't a full shutdown. Because if it was a full shutdown, like in places like Spain, Italy, and Portugal and stuff, everything is shut down. You don't got to pay no light bill. You don't got to pay no mortgage, no rent. Everything is shut down. But they didn't do that here. Why? Because these are some greedy savages out here. And even though we was on a semi-shutdown, people still had to pay their rent, even if they was on that stimulus package hold where you don't pay rent because of COVID. Well, guess what? They kicked a lot of those people out once they raised the bans on those things or lifted the ban on that. But you still had to pay for everything. There was nothing. Your cell phone bill was still still charging your debit card and your card note. I remember they was like, oh, we want to help you. When I was paying my card note, it was like, oh, because of COVID, we're going to help you. Oh, how you going to help me? Oh, we're going to take this payment and we're just going to push it back. Oh, so I still got to pay it, just not right at this moment. Okay, wow, that's really helping me out. Why don't you just waive a good 6 months and say that you're going to pay for it? How about that? That's helping. But when the pandemic started, it turned the United Serpents of America upside down in a day. In a day, people. You remember? Do you remember? Go back. Look at how much your life has changed since that day that everything got turned upside down, where this country started to be exposed for what it really is. And then comes George Floyd, which is the Black Flag operation. Then you got the mass shootings. Then you got the whole propaganda pimping with Dr. You know who. I don't even like saying his name no more. Everything changed, people, because we are going through a spiritual transformation. The level of vibration has increased. That's why time is moving a lot faster, because the Most High is always in control, always has been, always will be. And we are in a time right now where this is revelations. This is where things are going to get thick in drama, in chaos, and in anarchy, in instability and uncertainty. And if you don't own what you know, especially when it comes to what you know about the Most High and your relationship with the Most High, then you are easy pickings. You are sheep for the slaughter. You are lunch meat. You are fish in jail, right? That's what they call the newcomers, the ones that they knew they was going to rape. They're like, oh, I want that fish. We are in a time right now where you have to be a warrior. in order to survive the spiritual warfare. You have to be a spiritual warrior. You don't have to be 250 pounds and 6'6" and built like a shit house in order to be a warrior. You could be 110 pounds and 5'3" and still kick ass spiritually. Because the spiritual warrior is the one that owns what they know. Because we're in a time right now where knowledge breaks the spell of ignorance, and we are entrenched in ignorance, entrenched in it. That's a fact. People don't like to think out here in this country, or should I say in this corporation, to be exact. They don't like to think. People don't like to do things that are thought-provoking. People don't like to be critical thinkers. That's why the damn science appliance was like a carnival where people were just coming up and getting tickets to the greatest show on earth called COVID-19. The greatest dog and pony show ever to exist. And people were buying tickets to this dog and pony show like it was going out of town. And it was this last night in town. I got to get on that ride. I got to get on that COVID ride. COVID cadet. I'm going to be a COVID cadet. COVID cadet reporting for duty, sir. You have a lot of those type of derelicts. And I don't give a shit, people. Like, if you're stupid and you want to keep going with this, I can't be around you, man. I want to be as far away from you as possible. I don't care how much I love you. I don't care if you're my family or whatever. It's like, oh, well. Oh, you're an asshole. Okay. I'll be a healthy asshole, though. I ain't going to the doctor every 3 to 4 weeks. And y'all willing, I will become an old man that doesn't have heart problems or high blood pressure or cholesterol issues or gout like my brother has, or, erectile dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be none of those things. You got to own what you know, because knowledge is power only when it is applied. And faith without works is not anything. And it relates to that's what it means when you're not applying knowledge. If you're not putting work into your faith, then your faith don't mean a damn thing. And it's the same thing with knowledge. If the knowledge that you know ain't being applied in life, in your journey, in your quest, then is it really knowledge? If it's not being applied, because it lays dormant, it goes nowhere. If I know how to build a house, the house ain't going to build itself. I got to apply the knowledge that I have into building that house and making it come into fruition. And I'm looking at the chat room. And Mauricio said, "Booyah, you just described me, brother." Or, well, hey, I'm glad I did. Do tell. Let me know how I described you, brother. Let's talk about it. Own what you know, and don't give 2 Pfizers or 3 Modernas about what somebody thinks about how you know yourself and how you operate within your skin. Don't care. Because a lot of those people, they don't know themselves. Just like I talked about yesterday, unrealized potential. How many people you know suffer from that? Suffer from unrealized potential. I bet that many of you know a lot of people like that. I bet that there's some people listening right now that are like that themselves. And I'm here to tell you, stop and change your ways and start realizing that you have light and it needs to shine bright. And that light is not going to be reached at some tunnel, at the end of some tunnel. That light is in you for you to light up the darkness in that tunnel and work your way through the darkness, because we are in some dark time. We are in dark times right now, people. And the only way we can navigate through these dark times is with the light of the Most High that is in all of us. If we embrace it, if we get to know it, if we become intimate in getting to know that which is and always will be that's within us. And scriptures is a good way to get a better understanding that. It's not the only way. I want to make that very clear. But it is a way. It's a very powerful way at that. And I'm not just talking about the Bible. I'm talking about all of the basic instructions before leaving earth that have been given to us. Because the instructions are basic because the Most High lies within the simplicity of life. Life is simple, people. Less is always going to be more, and more is always going to be less. And when the demonic forces decided to create all these religions, why do we have so many different religions for the one universal power? Why? Religion, it hinders you. I'm not religious. I'm so happy that I never gravitated to Christianity that I was raised up in. I never gravitated to it. I didn't start gravitating into to scriptures until I became a grown man, because I saw so many fake individuals holding that damn Bible close to their chest, and they really wasn't living that life. Just like when I had to go to my first confession, and I was like, nah, how am I going to confess my sins to this father, to this priest that I know damn well sins way more than I do? Does that make sense? No. How did I know that at 11 or 12 years old? Because the Most High was with me. I just didn't realize it. I knew a lot of this stuff was bogus. But you know what I do know that's not bogus? Is that there is a truth. There is something that we are being kept from. And there's a lot of money and time and energy that's invested every single moment of the day to keep us away from that. And you have to ask yourself, why are they spending so much money, time, and effort into keeping us from knowing who we truly are and where we truly come from? Because once we do know, once we own what we know, it's game over. It's game over for these heathens, these savages, these demons, these spiritual dark forces that are the principalities of darkness and wickedness and immorality and unrighteous. I had a lady tell me one time, oh, how can we be righteous? Or real easy, man. Start doing the right things and start doing them at the right time and make that your culture all the time. Just do the right thing and do it now instead of doing it later, because later might never come. It's always about the now, because that's why time doesn't exist, because we are in a constant state of now. It's always about the now, because that's all that exists is now, the present. The past and the future is just an illusion of something that is or hasn't been. But it's always about the present and it's always about the now. Are you living for now? Or are you living for later? Are you a congratulator or are you a hater? I'm a congratulator. I ain't ever, and I can say this with the utmost confidence, I have never been jealous of another man ever in my life. The only person that I've truly had a deep level of jealousy for, and it was stupid of me to be like this, but I can admit it, was my daughter's mother. And it was only because I was so jealous that this woman was spending precious time, meaningful moments with my child, and I wasn't getting to experience none of it. I was getting to experience some of it once in a while, every other weekend, if she met up with me to pick up my child. I used to have to pick up my child when she was 1 and 2 years old at a police station. No violent domestic history, no criminality that was violent or anything like that. Nothing warranted me having to pick up my child at a police station, but I had to do that shit for 6 months. Because the demonic judge by the name of Judge Walden, who I hope has experienced horror in his life, I hope that when he leaves this body, that the Most High puts him in an extreme amount of heat and he just burns for eternity. That piece of shit. But it was because of that stupid idiot and his racist, white privilege that he wanted to make an example of me because I'm a melanated man who knows who he is and represented himself as so. And you've heard me talk about it before, people. If you are a man and you go to family court, operate with a lot of cunning. Be very deceptive. Use the art of war. Do not do what I did. Don't go in there with your 3-piece suit and your polished wingtip shoes and your cufflinks, well-spoken, articulate, knowing your rights. Ooh, they don't like that. They do not like that. Because they're looking at you like you are a nigger. You are a spick. You are a piece of shit. What are you doing coming into my courtroom thinking that you're going to have some type of prosperity and success here in this realm? This is my demonic realm, motherfucker. You are a peasant. And they're going to try to knock you down. You got to be very cunning. So to all you brothers that are dealing with this right now, that are going into family courts throughout the United States of America and abroad, and you dealing with some baby mama drama, because I know some of you are, this is what you do. I'm going to give you some great advice right now. Advice that took me about 12 to 14 years to figure out. Don't show all your cards. Don't let them know what you do know. If you do get an attorney that's real, that really has your best interest. And most of the time, you got to go through some type of father's rights organization. People that have been tested and are really about that life. Because a lot of these lawyers, they just want your money. They don't give a shit about you. I had one attorney charge me $25 every time I left him a voicemail on his phone. I said, get the fuck out of here. I ain't paying you no $25 for a voicemail. Real piece of shit. But you got to be careful. Another thing you want to do is go in there bummy. Don't go in there with because a lot of people be like, oh, you got to dress nice to respect the judge. Fuck that bullshit. Fuck that judge. Come in there with fucking holes in your shirt, fucking dirty ass jeans, and some fucking bummy ass Timbs or sneakers. And if the judge does ask, why are you looking all bummy? Be like, I can't afford no good clothes, Your Honor. My apologies. Times are tough. but at least it's clean, Your Honor. That's what you say. I guarantee you, he's not going to try to treat you like a piece of shit. I'm telling you, people, I've lived this. Don't come in there looking respectable. Because if you are a man of color going into a demonic courtroom, dressing like you about this life and that you are about respectability and dignity and morality and you are a man of the Most High and you are shining, they ain't gonna like that, man. Be deceptive. We are behind enemy lines, people. Be deceptive. Be cunning in your movements. Because these demons, we need to be as cunning as they are in this spiritual warfare. And if I would have known what I know now, I would have came into that courtroom with a dirty t-shirt that barely fits me, with some old ass Nikes or some freaking Chuck Taylors that don't even got shoelaces in them. And I would have had some holes in my damn jeans. And I'd have been like, Your Honor, I really can't afford, I really can't afford what would they charge me? $140 a week. I could do 40. And I guarantee you, I seen it. I seen a brother who cut hair, and the baby mama was like, oh, he makes a lot of money. And he was like, Your Honor, I have a cash business and I don't even own the barbershop. I just rent the chair and the judge was very like, okay, like, he's like, hey, you got to deal with what he's working with. I can't take more money from this man that he don't got. And she was like, he got money. He got this, he got that. And I'm pretty sure the brother was rolling in the dough. I could tell he was, but he was smart. And I even told him so. I was like, give him that fist pump, like, yeah. Because I already knew that girl was going to spend that money on herself, just like my daughter's mother did. I don't give a lot of these women, and it's not all the women, but a lot of them, they don't care about their kids. Their kids are a welfare check here in the United Serpents of America. You got to be very cunning. And this goes out to not just, I just used as an example, but it goes to the females too. If you are a woman in America, especially if you are a woman of color, if you are a melanated woman and are you considered something that is non-white, you better move. You better move in silence, and you better move cunning, and you better be very deceptive with the enemy. You can't let the left hand know what the right hand's doing, and you can't let the right hand know what the left hand's doing, and you can't let the left hand know what the left elbow is doing or the right elbow. Because we are surrounded by wicked forces here. This land is cursed. This land is desecrated. This land has too much blood on its hands. And when you go into these institutions, you got to own what you know, but you got to move discreetly, and you got to move in a way where you get to fight the good fight, but without bringing too much attention to yourself. And it's easier said than done, people. I'm not saying that you're going to go out tomorrow if you're in the child support family court system and you're going to listen to my show and all of a sudden things are going to change for you. It's work. It comes with a lot of patience and a lot of effort into really overcoming the trial and tribulations that the institutions of the United Serpents of America bring to your life. And that's why it's so important to own what the fuck you know. Because if you don't, who's going to do it for you? Knowledge is power only when it's applied, people. And knowledge breaks the spell of ignorance. And I'm saying, break the spell of ignorance. Maintain a high level of faith over any fear that might want to seep into your heart and mind. Maintain a level of knowledge that is applied and continue to gain knowledge. Because the more you gain knowledge, the more the Holy Spirit starts to guide you with wisdom. And it's a beautiful thing to be guided by the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit is wisdom. It is wisdom of the very embodiment of Yahweh ben Yahweh, the very embodiment of that which is and always will be, the embodiment of Yahweh Elohim, the Most High, the great Creator, the Almighty God, whatever you call it. Be connected to that high level of source energy. And I guarantee you that everything that you thought mattered at one time will not matter anymore. And you will be able to move forward with a greater sense of purpose and a higher level of energy that will vibrate at such a high frequency that it'll make you fucking untouchable. And with that being said, brothers and sisters, I hope that what I just talked about for this past hour and 7 minutes is making sense. I hope that somebody in this chat room is getting great substance from this. Because even though I'm a messenger, I'm still a student. I'm an intelligent follower of the Most High. And the Most High is mentoring me and guiding me to become a great leader in this truth. But I will always be an intelligent follower. I will always be an intelligent follower that when I gain knowledge and I apply it, I will own what I know. And I ain't going to give a rat's ass about what anybody thinks about that. Because if I'm not hindering your life specifically, then I don't give a shit about what you feel. Because I ain't doing nothing to you for you to feel the haterism or the high level of insecurity because you are unrealized potential. I could give a rat's ass about how much you don't realize your potential. That's a you problem. That's like my boy Billy says all the time. He said, Reg, that's a them problem, not a you problem. And I'll say the same thing to you people listening to this show. That's a dumb problem, not a you problem. Leave it there with them. Continue on your quest for salvation. Continue to walk your path of true enlightenment so that you can be fulfilled while you're here. Because our lives are a microcosm to the very existence of this universe. And this physicality that we dwell in for a moment's time is really just a moment in time that doesn't even exist, because it's always the now. It's always the present. So I think that it's time to take an instrumission. And why don't we do that? This is all the informationalists from the Network of Awareness, and I'll be right back.
Nothing like Stage Screen Radio.
Let's get a little bit of Hebrews Are Rising, people. We haven't heard that in a minute. Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo. How you doing?
Attitude reflect lead, attitude reflect lead, attitude reflect lead,
I built this shit. Me, brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another nigga talk.
shouts to all the righteous brothers and sisters, man. When it comes to it, be about this life and this truth movement. Yeah. You know I'm amped on the scene. A straight fiend and cream. It's just a hop, skip, a scheme. It's all about Yahweh Elohim, this is not a dream.
Arms on, legs on, chest on, hips on. Stay on it, stay on it, stay on it. Arms on, legs on, chest on.
You know I'm amped on the scene. A straight fiend and cream. It's just a hop, skip, a scheme away from me being all that I could be. This game is outdated, overrated, and unmotivated. The most to make it, get raped and regulated. I try to save it from being mistaken and wasted. I told you to open your eyes wide and realize you can't lie under the ears and eyes of the Most High.
I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just cause you don't like the way another nigga talk.
Shout outs to my brother Take One. This is called Count on Yah.
This road is full of pain, but it's in the plan.
Count your favors, brothers and sisters, and be grateful.
The world is like a tower that's about to fall. It's hard, but do it all. You can count on.
Thank Lord for a new day. Hands to the east, all praise Yahweh. Yeah, I'm feeling grateful, feeling good about all the choices I've made. Lord knows I ain't perfect. I live in a glass house. I stay humble, never ever try to act out. Never thought I'd make it this far, so I gotta thank Yah, cause I ain't even tapped out. I made a promise, I gotta keep it. If I don't, I'll feel defeated. I failed before, and I won't repeat it. But ironically, the failure is what I needed, cause it gave me motivation. The memories, I won't erase them. Salvation's close, I can almost taste it. Even though it's tough, I hope I make it. Come on.
This road is full of pain, but it's in the plan. The Lord knows you struggle and He's got your hand. The world is like a tower that's about to fall. It's hard, but do it all. You can count on.
To my brothers and sisters in truth, I pray that you make it too. Lord knows I do. Such dark times, everything's gonna blow like a landmine. 10 times worse than you fantasize. Stay awake, bruh. It's all about one word. Bob letters that always gotta stay up. Babe, keep strong with the breastplate on and let Yahweh pave the way. Cause he chose you. So embrace the pain. You ain't the same. You're like the ace of spades. You're the needle in the hay. You're different. You dedicated your life to walk in the Lord's way. Hey, so keep your head up. When you fall, get up. The Most High's about to hand you a crown. Long suffering, God's coming, a deep in the night. Wow.
This road is full of pain, but it's in the plan. The Lord knows your struggle and He's got your hand. The world is like a tower that's about to fall. It's hard, but through it all, you can count on God.
For the wise, either ride or you gon' die. It's the blind leading the blind. We've been fighting for our rights, now we fighting for our life. Still no light I see inside, but I see the light inside and pray I don't go out my mind. I got a 9 in my hand and a couple of bullets. All I need is a reason for me to load it and pull it. There goes one in the shoulder, another one in the leg. Gotta finish the job and put another one in his head. I was told it's him or me, I'ma live to see another day. Killer do the killing, I don't see it any other way. People do the talking, I don't care what motherfuckers say. Keep your social distance or you getting blown the fuck away. No more Mr. Nice Guy, gotta be the bad boy. I'm on high alert, I got all of you niggas paranoid. I'm way too much at peace for you to ever bother mine. That's the bottom line, cause we all live in them all time. The 9 on me.
Shout out to all my brothers and sisters from the boogie down Bronx, baby.
It's time to ride or die, homie.
Yeah, it's time to ride or die, homie.
Man, this how we survive, homie.
Yeah, this how we survive, homie.
Shout out to all the brothers and sisters in New York City, up north, all around. Let's go.
Die till I die, homie. I leave a nigga paralyzed, homie. What you know about the 9 on me? With that 45, feel like plies, homie. I look up at the sky like I'm the guy, homie. Doubt I'm grinding off the muscle you supply for me. What you know about your bestie trying to ride on you? I ain't never tell, bitch, I define loyal. That type of upper shit just make my blood boil you. How you hate me after all the shit I done for you? Now I'm forced to get my head right, but that's kinda hard when you to dodge death twice. Respect life, but this ain't a show, I'm dead nice. I'm the one that could bring us to the next fight. Shed light over everything bad, I'm the one with a gun, it's a tech bite. Blah.
Shout out to my brother Lincoln. Shout out to Lou Mora and Silver. Let's go. This is called Journey into the Abyss.
How you doing?
Let's stay to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take freedom.
I've been keeping the faith, winning the race, trying to envision the goal. I've been keeping the pace, look in my face, you can see ya in my soul. I've been staying the course, racing with force, keeping my eyes on the road. Nailed my foot to the gas, you know what I want.
What's that?
I want the tenfold. Speaking and reading and teaching, we follow them scriptures. Do you feel us? And it's nothing. Why you ducking and dodging them scriptures? He be with us and we love it. Keep the faith cause I love him a lot. Hope my favor be double like lots. Hope I rise till I conquer the top. Said you seen ya, then you seen my pops. Used to wanna do everything my way, because my way was the right way. Then I put away things that were childish. Now it's Yahweh or the highway. Now I'm walking in light with no blips, standing out like a lunar eclipse. Grab his hand and I tighten my grip. Walking in faith, make sure I don't slip.
Make sure I don't slip by peeping the signs. The day of the Lord is so deep in the night. Hand on my sword cause the kingdom is nigh. The crown is my goal and it keeps me alive. Can't ever let it out my sight. I protect to the death every ounce of fight. Demons pushing and pushing with all their might. But I got in y'all's armor like a knight.
I've been keeping the faith, winning the race, trying to envision the goal. I've been keeping the pace, look in my face, you can see ya in my soul. I've been staying the course, racing with force, keeping my eyes on the road. Nailed my foot to the gas, you know what I want.
What's that?
I want the tenfold. Man, I love when the spirit be working, cause it shows me when they lurking. Now I step on the neck of the serpent, just to show him I can hurt him. And I'm keeping that boot on his neck, keeping faith and actions in check. I study, I walk and I rap. Walking with Yah, he guide my steps. And I'm running with Yahweh, been Yahweh. So I wave like chow babe. Pull up in the Father's driveway, then I wave like howdy. I travel the road, I'm here. My sweat, my blood, my tears. They vanished, they all disappeared. I conquered them all, I conquered my fears.
I'm grinding for tenfold. Keep his word in your faith, it's simple. Day to day, it's a battle. Difficult. Your Yahweh was never sinful. Every day I'm just trying to do right. I ain't one that the world's gonna like. A lot's gonna say, oh, he's boring. Small price for a wonderful life.
I've been keeping the faith, winning the race, trying to envision the goal. I've been keeping the pace, look in my face, you can see ya in my soul. I've been staying the course, racing with force, keeping my eyes on the road. Nailed my foot to the gas, you know what I want.
What's that?
I want the tenfold.
But that which ye already have, hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with the rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall it be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And I will give him the morning star. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Tenfold, baby.
All praise, Yahweh, tenfold.
Why do you smile? Arcadian, I've fought countless times. Yet I've never met an adversary who could offer me what we Spartans call a beautiful death. I can only hope, with all the world's warriors gathered against us, there might be one down there who's up to the task.
Attitude reflect leadership. Attitude reflect leadership. Attitude reflect leadership.
Damn, Dreamland made that. Every day I'm working. Every day I'm praying. Every day I'm grinding. Chances that I'm taking. Walking out on faith, yeah. Fuck what they saying. Cause we winning. Oh man, here we go again. Niggas mad again cause we changed, elevated, renovated the house within ourselves, kicked them out like Pam, slammed the door, never again let anybody in. Tryna rob me of my energy, call them out suddenly, losing memory. Hate it when you keep it real, know it's such a tough pill. Gotta deal, what's the deal? The world we living in is full of shit. Right there, can't even think, niggas weak, women street. Everybody envy, everything, all likes, all views with no reality. Everybody fake, claiming they awake. When's the last time you prayed or helped somebody out when it wasn't for the clout? Yeah, I'll never make millions, my soul I never sell to get it. All praise to Yah, every single day I'm growing, hallelujah. Separate myself from them. No, I cannot quit. Yeah, I gotta win. Praise you till the end. I'ma keep on working. I'ma keep on grinding. Every day I'm working. Every day I'm praying. Every day I'm grinding. Chances that I'm taking. Walking out on faith, yeah. Fuck what they saying. Cause we winning.
Yeah.
All praise to Yah.
Shout outs to all the kings and queens creating it, making it
all
happen.
Praise to Yah. Every
One
single
day
day
at a time, all praise to the Most High.
Walking out on faith, yeah. All praise to Yah. All praise to Yah. Every single day I'm growing, hallelujah.
You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
You gotta hit them with something they ain't heard before. Let's go. Let me talk my shit. The truth is the truth, no matter how you accept it. I'm a Hebrew king that Babylon has rejected. Morals and soul intact, never neglected. Fuck these rap industry niggas, yeah I said it. I'm stuck when I'm stuck with, cause I don't suck dick, I don't sell brick. It is what it is. The Most High blessed me with this gift just to spit and lyrically call you fake rappers on your shit. Blow for blow, let them know I'm ready to go. The difference between me and them, I still have my soul. Why sell it for a season when you promise tenfold? But niggas will be niggas, ain't that right, Momo? The truth is the truth, no matter how you accept it. There isn't like blood that's coded in my genetics. Bar for bar, so you can feel my kinetics. I know my purpose and my mission. Intercepted.
Babylon has did everything to try to keep it from me. They don't want to see me grow. The truth is the truth. I know my purpose now. Now I'm on a mission. Babylon has did everything to try to keep it from me. They don't want to see me grow with the truth. Don't want me. The truth is the truth. I know my purpose now. Now I'm on a mission.
In the age of low wages and raging races, haters with mad faces that haven't been awakened. Chasing oasis to be rich and famous. Abrasive vibrations can be real contagious. We all vagrants in a wasted matrix. So basic sensations have reached the apex. Time to give the hopeless a conscious facelift. In stages and phases of inspiration. So don't say shit, it's just confirmation. I'm giving directions to misguided strangers. So do yourself a favor, stop spilling blood on the paper. One with the creator, we don't waver from no danger. His purpose with no caution, no hoping in slow motion. A lot of painful emotions got me feeling explosive. But I maintain from implosion and stay away from commotions. And stick to the slogan, to be Yah chosen.
Babylon has did everything to try to keep it from me. They don't want to see me grow with the truth. Don't want me. The truth is the truth. I know my purpose now. Now I'm on a mission. Babylon has did everything to try to keep it from me. They don't want to see me grow with the truth. Don't want me. The truth is the truth. I know my purpose now. Now I'm on a mission.
Own what you know. Now. Because knowledge breaks the spell of ignorance.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Hello, positive people. You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, giving you in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, with messages of inspiration, with keen insights, reputable interviews, and much more. So now, without further ado, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
And we are back. So I hope that you brothers and sisters enjoyed that intermission of musical prowess and greatness with the brothers and sisters that are gifted and are giving back the gifts that have been given. Shout outs to all the brothers and sisters in this truth. And you are listening to season 4. And by the way, I'm one of the only podcasters that does 100 episodes per season. So every 100 episodes is a season for me. So we are in season 4, which means we are in over 300 episodes. And this is episode 13. Own what you know. 'Cause ain't nobody going to do it for you. So you might as well own it because it is yours if you choose for it to be so. Spiritual warfare is real, people. Just because you can't see it, but many people can't see it for what it is, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's like I always say, if somebody says, oh, the sun doesn't rise in the east, doesn't matter because the sun will rise in the east. Doesn't matter what people say. There's the truth, and then there's the lie. Pick a side. In one's life lies Yah or Satan. Choose a side. Don't be a righteous hater. Either be righteous or be a hater. Can't be both. And if you want to be a hater, go be a hater, but do that over there. Because over here, we're congratulators. We're righteous people putting forth righteous intentions, trying to make the most out of what the Most High gave us with the gifts and the ability. So why not own what you know in a land, in a realm that is filled with a high level of ignorance and malevolence and deviancy and everything that is of low level vibration. I used to be somebody who was very much into personal development industry. But what I come to find out, even though in the personal development industry, there's a lot of great information, which is really a lot of the information that's in scriptures. It's just people putting their own little spins on it. That's all the personal people. I don't care what anybody says. Your Tony Robbins and all these people, all they're doing is taking the spiritual information that the Most High gave us and putting their own little spins on it and putting these little seminars together to get people all riled up and to get them to feel, a certain level of high adrenaline for a couple of days or a day or two or a couple of hours. And then people go back to being their original unrealized potential self. And they make millions, if not billions of dollars in the personal development industry. I equate the personal development industry very much to the churches because that's what they do. They preach a lot of prosperity and a lot of supposed personal spiritual development, but it's really to cater to your emotions. And I've seen a lot of that in the personal development industry. And whenever you're around a lot of people that are vibrating on a certain level that is somewhat positive, you're gonna be inspired by that. You're gonna feel great about it. But the nucleus of it all it really doesn't have any great substance to it because it doesn't have the nucleus or the foundation of the Most High. And it took me a long time to figure that out, people. A long time. If it doesn't have the foundation of the Most High in its roots, then nothing really meaningful and everlasting will come from that. And that's why it's so important nowadays to not really be motivated by money. Now, listen, I'm a firm believer that we should all strive to become somewhat financially viable and have a substantial amount of income coming in with the gifts that we've been given or whatever talents that we're using at whatever jobs. I'm a firm believer that if you want to make a lot of money, do it, but do it in a way where you're not losing yourself in the paper, because it's just paper. It's just an energy. But if you can hold a level of universal spiritual principles while you're making that money, the money is just an energy that's there to be utilized for whatever purpose it needs to serve in your quest for salvation. But if it starts to become the other way around, then you're going to get lost in the sauce. And you're going to start to become egotistical, egoic, superficial, and on your fucking high horse to where nobody's going to want to be around you unless they're just like you. Success is based on perception. That's it. And I said it yesterday. If you're a person that doesn't have a lot of money, like myself, it's okay, because the true wealth is within you. And I chose to not have a lot of money. I could have been a highly successful insurance broker. And I was on my way to being that individual. But I woke up from my slumber to realize that that wasn't my purpose. And what I gained from the knowledge that I gained from those experiences served its purpose to where I'm at now. I learned a lot. I went through a lot. And I'm better for it. And I'm not saying that if you are broke, that you should be like, oh, I'm just going to be broke for the rest of my life. Strive to improve and to gain some type of wealth, but don't lose yourself in the pursuit of money, because money is just an energy. The true contentment and joy comes from really being connected to that which is and always will be, which is the Most High. And when you start serving that purpose, which is within you, but you're serving it outside of you, meaning that you are serving it to your community, to your peers, you're making a difference in the world, doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be an individual that thinks you're going to change the world, but become the change that you want to see in the world, and you will create change within this world. And the only way you're going to do that is by getting to understand and know who you are. That's it. It's real simple, but it becomes complex because of all of the status quo bullshit that we experience here in society. And I'm so grateful that the Most High put it in my spirit to become very much desensitized to that way of thinking now. And when I mean I'm desensitized to that way of thinking, let me tell you something. I am somewhat unrecognizable to my own family. I am unrecognizable. And I mean family. I'm talking about people that have known me since I came out of my mother's womb. I am unrecognizable these days. And it's because it's not that I'm better than anybody. I'm not trying to say that I'm this super duper individual, but I am a man on a quest for salvation. And I am a man who is putting forth righteous intentions, and I do everything in my power to be an upstanding, righteous human being, a righteous man for my brothers and sisters. And those that have gotten the opportunity to know me know that I ain't talking shit right now. And if I consider you a brother and sister in this truth, I will go above and beyond to help you if it's in my power to do so, Yah willing. But I'm not a pushover, and I'm not a simp, and I'm not a beta hater. I do have conditions. The only love that I truly have that's unconditional is my love for the Most High, because the only reason I have unconditional love for the Most High is because that's where I come from. So I have no choice but to recognize that as unconditional love, because that is the very essence of where I come from. But all the other love comes with conditions. And I remember having a conversation with Sister Danita about that. And she broke down that knowledge very well to me. We have to constantly own what we know, because nobody's going to do it for us. And if we don't know something, then let's take the time out to learn it. Let's take the time out to really build up this thing called faith and make it so strong that no fear will make us scared. And if we are somewhat scared, overcome it with faith over fear. Overcome it with the spirit that the Most High gave you, that you are the expression and the observer for the Most High. And I'm going to be somewhat transparent right now with y'all. I'm going to be a little vulnerable with y'all. I'm nervous as fuck about starting this TV network. I'm going to say it again. I am nervous as fuck about starting this TV network. It's a big, big step for me. And it scares the shit out of me. And I got people that care about me. They're like, it's going to be great. And it's not that I'm doubtful. It scares the fucking shit out of me, man, because I know it's going to test me. I already know it already is. And shit hasn't even started yet. It will in the next 15 days. But the shit scares the fuck out of me, man. And I just want to do a good job, people. I want to just do a good job for the Most High. I want to be a great representative for the Most High. And this TV network is going to give me an opportunity to be that for the Most High. But it scares me, people. And whenever something scares you like that, and it really makes you nervous, it's because it's really that great. And I'm scared. Like I haven't been in a long time. Matter of fact, the last time I felt this type of fear, this type of nervousness, was when I was starting the network of awareness. I was like, ain't nobody going to want to listen to what I got to say. Nobody going to want to listen to my show. I started letting those negative forces, those voices get into my head. But I overcame it. And here we are. Almost 2 years later, June 9th will be 2 years since I first picked up the mic and actually put an episode out. Because I was putting out, I was recording episodes in January of 2020 on the free Spreaker app for the 15 minutes. And then I would delete it. And then I finally got my head out of my ass and I was like, own what the fuck you know and be who you are meant to be. Because the Most High already put it in you to be that. So what is that? What do you have to be afraid about when you're rolling with the Most High? How can you be afraid? But we're in this flesh, so we're going to get tested and we're going to go through some shit. But we got to overcome the nonsense because ain't nobody else going to do it for us. And we live amongst a society that's going to cater to that fear. It's going to cater to the doubt. It's going to support the doubt. It's going to support the instability of emotions. That's why the spiritual walk ain't easy, man. And when I say And like I said a long time ago, that the righteous path is a tightrope. I mean it, man. Like you really got to put a lot of strain on every aspect of your life to maintain balance on walking that rope, because it's so like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's so flimsy. Like you literally got to take it step by step, and you got to be careful in your steps. You got to put a lot of strain on your butt muscles, your leg muscles, your calves, your hips. You got to stretch your arms out and make sure that you balance. You got to maintain a high level of acuity and focused on where you're heading, and make sure you keep dialed in and maintain that balance while you're wiggling on this righteous path that's so damn narrow. And then you got to make sure that you're dodging all the rocks and the garbage and the boulders of bullshit that people are throwing at you, all the animosity and the hate and the doubts and the straight just ignorance that people are always trying to get you to get sucked into. It comes with a lot of responsibility. But whatever doesn't kill you, and whatever you can be resilient and endure, it's only going to make you that much stronger, and it's going to take you further along that tightrope. So if you was 7 feet away and you got 7 feet ahead on that tightrope, that is promising. That is successful. But it doesn't end all. It's not the end all to all. You got to continue to walk you got to walk that tightrope to the very end. And so there's no more rope left. And when there's no more rope left, that means you left this body. And hopefully you are going to make a smooth transition to a higher ascended dimension to be with the Most High, or to go on your next journey and not repeat this life or a different life in a different body all over again with the same spirit. Like I always say, same shit, different toilet, same spirit, different body. We need to transcend. We need to ascend into a higher frequency, into a higher dimension, and not come back here, because this is a prison planet. And it would always be that. I think that's what this flat earth represents. It represents a prison. It represents a school. And we have to be educated spiritually in order to leave this place for good, instead of repeating it over and over and over and over again. And that's why some of us are old souls, because we've been here many of times. I know I have. I know I have. It's been revealed to me. And y'all willing, I'm going to get it right this time. Through platforms like Network of Awareness, where I'm allowed to give my praise to the Most High and be all that I could be. And serve the Most High by serving my brothers and sisters in this truth. So, brothers and sisters, I'm glad that you joined me on this broadcast today, because I'm going to be honest with you. I feel good these days. It's not a lot of days where I can't even remember the last time I woke up feeling like shit. I don't even remember when the last time that was. The only times I've woken up feeling like shit in the last couple of years is when I got that food poisoning. If y'all remember, that food poisoning did a number on me. But the Most High said, we shall drink that poison and still live. And here we are. We still here. Faith over fear all day, every day. It's important to stay healthy physically, especially nowadays with all the toxins in the foods and stuff. But it's even more important to stay healthy spiritually and mentally. Because if the spirit ain't healthy, everything else is going to be out of whack. So make sure that you're maintaining a level of consistent, persistent effort into strengthening your spirit and getting to know yourself better and getting closer to the Most High, because you need to own what you know. And everything we have, everything that we need to know is already inside of us. We just got to open up to it. We got to get a better understanding of it. We got to become more acclimated with the spiritual beings that we truly are, instead of the shell of deception that we've been taught that we are by the forces that want to keep us deaf, dumb, and blind from the truth, which is Yah Elohim. So with that being said, I want to thank you for joining episode 13, Own What You Know. I hope that after this broadcast has ended, that you will start owning what you know. And if you're already doing so, then strengthen. Strengthen what you know. When you live in the present, there is always an opportunity for a new beginning. So start your new beginning on life and get closer to that which is and always will be. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel, find your way through the darkness, put on your big boy pants and your big girl skirt, and work your way through that darkness. Because ain't nobody else gonna do it for you. Own what you know. Knowledge will always break the spell of ignorance. This is Or the Informationalist from the Network of Awareness and soon to be Network of Awareness.tv, saying peace, love, and light, and all praise to the Most High. Barakatah.